It's so exciting. So it is the new year. Happy New Year's to you guys. That means that garden season is upon us. I think yesterday was actually my 12th week for my last estimated frost date, which is March 27th. Usually it's the week after, which is I think April 2nd. That's what it was last year, but today they're estimating, this year they're estimating it at March 27th. I'll take it. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It could be 2 weeks later. It could be 2 weeks earlier. It's just all an estimate. But with the garden season coming up closer and me wanting to start peppers in the next week or so, I thought it would be fun to talk about varieties that I would grow again, that I'm definitely growing again this year, and then some that just didn't work out, or that it worked out but I just didn't really care for it. It's not very many, but that I wouldn't grow this year, but there are some definitely that just I didn't like. So if you are new here, my name is Dominique, but you can call me Dom. I did break my seeds up into categories so they're all tomatoes, all peppers, all cucumbers, melons, stuff like that. And I have tomatoes right on top, so we'll start with that one. This will not be like a complete list, because there were some tomatoes that I lost the tags for. The tags washed away, and so I didn't, even though they produced a lot, I didn't know the variety or the names of them. And so I just got the ones that I definitely knew that either had the tags, or I knew what tomato varieties they were. If you do not know your last estimated frost date, you can always Google it by just saying, hey Google, when's my last estimated frost date? And it will definitely tell you. That's what I usually do. Or go to the Farmer's Almanac and put in your zip code, and it will have a whole full list of spring planting and fall planting of when you can start seeds. And of course, that's just an estimate. You don't have to follow that, but they do take averages for your particular zone. So without further ado, I am going to get started. I'm going to first talk about tomatoes. The first tomato that I grew, and it was labeled an egg tomato. I got this from Seeds Now. If you are not new here and you've been around a while, you guys saw how prolific that this tomato plant was. Although when I was looking, it was marked egg tomato, and I've looked it up, and egg tomato is supposed to be, shaped like an egg. The picture on here is more circular, like a circle. But when I look it up online, it is shaped like how mine was shaped, and that's what it was labeled. And so I'm hoping that this was labeled correctly, and it was a egg tomato that I was harvesting, because that's what it was labeled, and it produced a lot. When all my other tomatoes was getting eaten up by hornworms and stuff, this particular tomato plant on both two different spots was full of tomatoes. Got limited eaten by the tomato hornworm, and so I just loved it. Another one was this Isis candy. I do get my seeds from all different types of companies. Mostly I start at Dollar Tree, because that's local, and then I work my way out. Going up from there, next would probably be My Gardener, and then anything he doesn't have, then I just outsource everything. I've ordered from Pine Tree Seeds. This is Seed Savers, Seeds Now. What else? What's this company called? Oh, Baker Creek. And of course, I've done other videos with seed companies that I've used. But Isis candy, this was another one, very prolific, produced lots of cherry tomatoes. My girls love to just pull them off of the vine and eat them. Same thing with this Jasper. I got this from Johnny's. It doesn't have a picture, but it was just a small cherry tomato produced. It was right next to the Isis candy, both of them, and next to this Matt's Wild Cherry that I got from Mary's Heirloom Seeds. I got these seeds I think in 2017, and they are still good. They still germinated. And so definitely, if you have old seeds, do not throw them out. They're still good. I even had them inside my storage when we sold our house and put everything in storage. Storage was not regulated, temp regulated, so it got really hot in there, of course, in the summers. And these seeds, that wasn't the perfect or ideal way to store these seeds, but they still did really well. So the next one is, I think, the one that wasn't labeled, but these are two tomatoes. Both of them have kind of like those ridges in them, and it wasn't labeled. I was thinking it was more of this one, because this one looks smaller than this one, but whichever one it produced so many tomatoes. It wasn't in the first round that I planted, it was off of a cutting, and it was in the second round where I did a fall slash late winter or late summer planting, and this tomato had so many tomatoes on it. It was just unbelievable, and it was obviously very unique. That's why I know that it was either one of these two tomatoes, because they're the only two tomatoes that I have that have ridges in them like that. And I just thought that it did amazing. Another tomato that I really enjoyed was this golden nugget that produced well. And like I said, there's other tomatoes that were yellow and other red ones, but they didn't have the name, and so I can't talk about those. This Grand Marshal, I love this, and I'm going to plant this again. What I am going to do is plant this one inside the greenhouse, because it is known as like a greenhouse variety, or my hoop house, cattle pen hoop house. It is known as a greenhouse variety, and so it produces a lot. This was my first big tomato out in the garden, and I was so happy about it. It lasted a really long time. The next one would be this. Nope, that's not it. That is all for my tomatoes. The next things that I'm going to talk about are peppers, spicy and sweet peppers. The first one, I guess, would be, I'm going to talk about the sweet peppers. The sweet peppers that did the best for me were this Jimmy Nardello. That one, it looks all wrinkly, like it's spicy, and so this one kept scaring me every time I was picking it, because I had to keep going back and being like, what is this variety? But that one did amazing. This, I don't know how you pronounce it, but that one did really well. I got that one from Baker Creek. Shishito peppers. Actually, my number one pepper in the garden was this shishito pepper. I thought this pepper was not spicy at all, so that's just a little note for you if you've never grown shishito peppers, that they're actually not completely sweet. I waited, obviously when peppers turn red, they get like their, most enhanced flavor, and so when these turned red, they were super spicy. Like, and I didn't even know. I thought that these were just sweet peppers. So if you didn't know, shishito does have a little spice to it. But I loved it. It produced the number one producing pepper in my garden, whether it probably produced another spicy pepper that was really prolific, but I would say this was the number one pepper. Another one is the giant Marconi. That one produced a lot of peppers. And then both of these two small peppers. These peppers were like, snack size peppers, very tiny, but both of them produced so many peppers. Like, there were just unbelievable amount of peppers, and I didn't even those were the ones that I lost the tags for, and so when they were growing them and they were growing in tiny, I was just like, what are these peppers? They're like all over the place. And so but then I realized what they were. So that is all for the not, super, that's all. So that's all for the not spicy peppers. The peppers next that I have are the spicy peppers. All of my spicy peppers did amazing except for habanero, but I think it got outshaded by the basils that I had planted next to, because once the basils had died and I cut them down, it did start growing, but it didn't have a chance to produce fruit, because at that time it was the end of the season and then the frost killed it. But my whole spicy pepper bed did amazing. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if any of those spicy peppers come back this year, because I plan on keeping my spicy peppers in that same spot since they did amazing this year. This is a Hungarian wax, and I got that one just from the Dollar Tree. As you can see, Dollar Tree seeds work great, and they were $4 for $1. With Dollar Tree going up in prices, probably, I don't know if it'll still be $4 for $1, or if it'll be, since they're priced at $1.25, who knows. But this Santa Fe Grande was probably the number one pepper out of the hot peppers, and I loved the flavor. I loved it pickled. It's not like super spicy, and my gardener seeds tell you right there how much spice it has. Let me see if I can find a different one where, like, this Serrano, the spicy level goes up. And so But this Santa Fe Grande, not super spicy, taste amazing pickled. I think that's what I did with all of them. And then when I got enough pickled ones, I started, I think, dehydrating them and grinding them into powder with like all of the peppers, and it's just really nice. The serrano pepper did really well. Oh, I had this banana pepper with my spicy, but that was a not spicy pepper that did really well. This peppercini did well. I used that one pickling as well with the Santa Fe Grande. And then what else? That is it for the peppers that I will definitely grow again, and that did so well. Next, we're gonna go to some melons. The first melon is definitely this baby doll melon. Not only did it produce for me, but it tasted wonderful. I love that it was bright yellow. I think it was my first tomato that I got from the garden, and I just loved it. I'm definitely gonna grow this one again. These other tomatoes, Cottageville melon. Cottageville melon produced so many melons for me, but I actually never got to taste them because they were hidden, and that was at the end of the summer where I was just struggling with a lot of stuff. And every time I would go out, although there was probably like 6 to 8 Cottageville melons, they would either be bust open or fallen, or so I look forward to growing this again. I actually have not tasted one, but they smelled amazing, so I'm gonna definitely grow that one again. It did produce a lot. These cantaloupes, both of them I absolutely loved. They smelled amazing. I tasted them. They were one of them did have like a bug hole in it, but I just cut it off and we tasted it, and it was so juicy. It was really the best cantaloupe that I've ever tasted. I did grow other cantaloupes, but some of them I lost the names of it, and so I did know those cantaloupes because they were, you know, different than all the other cantaloupes. So I was able to distinguish, you know, those cantaloupes. To zucchini and squashes, I didn't really have lots of success with zucchinis and squashes. The squash bugs were just horrible this year. But one that particularly, this cucuzzi squash, I planted this one. I got the seeds late, so I didn't plant this one until, or actually no, I had these seeds. I just didn't plant it at my first summer round, but I planted it during my late summer / spring planting, and this did amazing. I think I got maybe 5-6 cucuzzis before the frost killed it, and while it was, you know, dead, or when it was, the frost came and killed it, it probably had 8 cucuzzis on it. And so if it was able to live, it definitely would have given me so many cucuzzis. And when you shred one of these, oops, and use it like zucchini, that's what I did. I freeze dried a lot of this and would just use it in recipes that you would use like zucchini, to make zucchini bread and stuff. And it is amazing. It is, you can leave it on the vine and let it get a thicker skin, but I would let it I would pick it when it was a little younger, just so that it was easier to shred, because the bigger it gets, the bigger the seeds get, just like with anything. I would say even when I did my second round of late zucchinis and squashes, they still got eaten by squash bugs, where this one was not affected at all. So I was really happy about that. The next things I want to talk about is cucumbers. 2 cucumbers in particular that I'm definitely growing again, and that did amazing. The first one was this Armenian yard-long cucumber. Did amazing, grows super long, super prolific. And then this Suyo Long. I talked about this one so much. I think I talked about both of these a lot, but this one was probably my favorite, where this one produced a lot and stuff. I just didn't really care for the skin on this one. Is more like it was more melony and kind of fuzzy. So yeah, because I think this one's considered, yeah, it's called aka snake melon. So it is botanically a melon, it says, but it looks and tastes like a cucumber. But I would definitely grow both of these again next, or this year coming, and I'm so excited. I grew 3 different types of okra this year, and all of them did amazing. Actually, I grew 4. I don't have the 4th one with me, but I grew the Hill Country Red, I grew Red Burgundy, and then I think this is Crimson Spineless, and then the 4th one was like a dwarf okra. that dwarf okra produced so many okras, and I forgot that it was dwarf, and so that it wasn't going to get past 3 feet. And so it was growing and had so many okras on there that was started going to seed, and I didn't even know because I didn't remember it was going to be dwarf. And so I was waiting for it to get super super big and didn't see any flowers on the top or on the upper part. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's still, you know, growing. And then one day I got really really close and realized the whole bottom was completely filled with okra that had got too large and was going to seed it. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And so I would definitely grow more of those okra seeds. There's so many in that bed. It's the brassica bed that I had broccoli in. So many okra seeds were popping up all over the place that had just dropped. My kids saved so many okra seeds, so many seeds we don't even need, but they just thought it was fun to plant it all over. So I would probably have okra popping up all over our homestead because my kids were playing with them. The last thing that I have here are that I would grow again are beans. 2 beans in particular that I knew the names of that did really well was the scarlet runner bean, and then of course my absolute #1 favorite is this painted pony bush bean. I do have them from MR Gardener, but I went ahead and got a big bag from, I think, Seed Savers Exchange, like a 1-pound bag, so I won't need these beans for a long time. This bean was so versatile. I am going to use it as fresh eating green beans, but you can save the seeds and let it dry and use it as cooked beans and like soups and stuff like that. So it is a dual purpose bean, but this bean absolutely outshined every single bush bean variety, produced so many bush beans on this single plant. And then another bean that did really well was a pole bean. It was the dragon tongue pole bean. I didn't have the seeds for that, and I'm done ordering seeds for this year, so I'm actually just not gonna have that one this year. Hopefully it comes back by itself because there are still some like dead dried pods over there, and so that would be nice if I just get free green beans on the cattle panel where they were at. So that's all the varieties that I will definitely grow again that did amazing for me. Now we're going to talk about just a few of the ones that I grew and just had trouble with, or that I just won't grow again. The first one would be this yellow pequeño pepper. It was prolific, and like I said, it was in a spicy pepper bed and it did amazing. It's just so tiny to pick, and it was really like a pain, and so I definitely won't grow this one again just because of how tiny it is, and I just didn't have time to pick it. The next one would be this purple pepper. I'm not sure if I would grow this again. It says that it's deceiving because it looks super hot and stuff like that, and I was getting peppers off this, but I was expecting that I could eat them purple, and when we did, it just did not taste well. And I had someone comment and say that I should wait till it turned red, and that did make it better. So I'm on the fence about this one. I was growing it because I think the color is amazing. You can see that even the flower is purple and it just looks gorgeous, but I have to think about that one. I'm not really sure. Another tomato, or that was peppers. So this tomato, this Ace 55 tomato, it started producing, and it says that it's hardy, resilient, and all the thing, resistant to blossom end rot and drought resistant, all that stuff. And it was my first time, I think this was my first time growing it, and it did have lots of tomatoes and stuff on it, but this one struggled so bad with tomato hornworms, this one particularly, whereas other ones in the same row. And so I just don't know if the tomato hornworm just got to that plant and then just stayed there, but I mean, it basically killed this. And so I'm gonna grow it again, but you know, I don't know. You guys let me know. Have you guys grown Ace 55 and had trouble with it? Because I think I tried to do it 2 times, and that was both times the tomato hornworms demolished that plant. So I just don't know if it's that particular variety or what. Was it just luck? I have no idea. A melon that I tried to grow these multiple times was this jelly melon, and I didn't actually get this to do well, but Taquisha at Our Freedom Song, she had this in her garden and it was prolific and everywhere, but it never actually turned orange. And so I don't know if I think I would give away these seeds. Because I wouldn't grow these. I thought that they were cool because they, look all spiky and stuff like that, but for production, I just wouldn't grow that again. The next cucumber is this crystal apple cucumber. I tried to plant this so many times and I just did not, like, it just kept dying. I was just having bad luck with this. I think I'm going to try it again, but, or maybe I won't. Maybe I actually won't try this year because I want to try to make sure that I'm growing varieties this year that I know is definitely going to do well and that is going to get me big harvest. And I actually, was just growing this for fun because it says it's sweet flavored cucumber and it's shaped like an apple and all of the things, and I thought that that was very cool. But I think I actually want to focus more on stuff that's going to give me a higher yield and that I know did well for me last year. And so I'm not going to do that one. Another one that I'm not going to do is this lemon cucumber. I tried this. So this pack is from 2020. I've tried this since 2020. And it doesn't, oops. Ugh. I just never had good success with this one. So I'm not going to try to grow this one this year because, like I said, I want to save my garden for seeds that I know is definitely going to do well. So the same thing with this little potato. I thought it looked so cool, and I think it would still look cool because it says it's a round 3-inch fruit with brown russeted skin, and so it's supposed to taste like a cucumber, but it's kind of shaped like a potato. That's why it's called little potato. I just didn't have success with this, and so I probably won't grow this year, but save it for like another year, maybe when I want to go back to experimenting, but not this year. This Tigger melon did extremely well, and it smelled so sweet, like cantaloupe, like it was going to taste like the sweetest thing ever. And then when we bit it, it wasn't. It was not sweet at all. Like the smell was more sweet than the taste, and I've had actually other commenters and people tell me it was the same thing for them. And so I wasn't super impressed, but I got so many of these, but I'm not going to grow them this year. Another thing, the worst, this Chinese snake cucumber. So many tomatoes on it, but every tomato that I got was disgusting. It was so bitter, even if I picked it small or big. And now that I know I got it from seeds, now I'm going to go back to their website because I could have sworn that I read about this when I kept getting disgusting fruit, super bitter, and it said it was supposed to be sweet because a lot of people asked me if it was called bitter melon when I was telling them that this particular cucumber was disgusting. But I'm not gonna grow it this year. Another one that I want to try and grow this again, but it would definitely just be nostalgia. This is the cucumber melon, and I tasted a cucumber melon from Taquisha's garden, but not from our garden because the plants were vining and growing like crazy, but I just actually never got a cucumber melon to its full size. Stuff would just happen and then it would die. And so I'm not sure if I'm gonna try and grow this one again this year. Like maybe once I work out my garden plan, if I have space, maybe I might try this one again just because it's cute. It's small, shaped like a watermelon. But if I don't have any space for it in my garden, I would not be sad about it. So that is actually all of the seeds that I brought out here with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this little chat and just learning about the things that I'm definitely gonna grow, and the ones that I won't grow again, or at least not this year. I won't say that I won't grow them again, never. I still have some house projects in the house that I'm working on before I want to focus my attention on seed starting and stuff, but I have been doing in a little extra time that I have, gathering my seeds and organizing them and doing like a plan and looking at the Farmer's Almanac. Today I wrote down on my planner when to start things, and so I'm getting my mind into it, but I do have some things in the kitchen that I need to finalize before I focus my full attention outside and in the garden. I also need to straighten up this hoop house because I just threw in all of my garden things from that was inside of my glass house or my glass room in my house. I just took them all out and brought them in here. There's no organization to it. I just threw them in here. But I do want to start seeds in here, and so I thought I had wanted to, or I was going to get the chance to build shelving in here in order to start seeds. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I do have like these metal racks that I was using inside the house, and I did bring them in here, so I may be able to use these metal racks and then further down the line be able to build like a permanent, you know, wood structure for starting seeds. But for this year, I'm just going with it. I'm happy to have this enclosure. Right now I have the doors open because it got to 70 degrees today and it was super hot in here. I do have to, you know, top off these beds and get them ready, but I am so excited. And so if you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys next time.